Welcome back to Donna and Friends. In our next segment, titled Cushing Connections, we'll continue our safety tour with Police Chief Tully Fulton. We'll be looking at the police department side of things, so you don't want to miss that. Don't touch your dial. Chief Tully Fulton, thank you so much for meeting me today here
Not
at
a problem.
the new safety center. Something that's so excited. I'm so excited, let me say that, about this, and I want to kind of go through a tour of it with you. I know you're getting ready to move into it, so we're just going to kind of look at this diagram and do a little layout. Now, we came in through here and went on to the police side of this safety center. Why don't you take it from there and kind of tell me, starting at the front desk?
Well, obviously, just like you said, we did start in the lobby of the building. From there, we went into our main entry, which is to the west side of the building. The first office that the general public will be met with is going to be our records division. This is the area that there's going to be our support operations manager offices, our records, as well as our sex offender registry. And she's also in charge of our property, so she wears many hats, but she's there to, number one, meet the public, also assist them in any records that they may need at the time, or just to simply direct them to where they may need to go throughout the building. From there, if we continue back to the west and we come down, we go through basically our copier room, basically going to be file storage for us, some additional space, which is always is needed in a building. We then go into the investigations office. The investigator's office, is one of those offices that is very unique in and of its purpose. He or she is going to be in there working on cases that have already been worked by an officer, that because of the time and length of them has now been sent to the investigator. So right now we've currently decided that we wanted to expand this instead of just making it as a single investigator's office, to make it where it's going to be capable to fill for two. Although we only have one at this time, we're always looking at future expansion. And that being said, we would like to see as Cushing grows, as the department continues to grow, is that we do have two investigators there. So we have designed that for two. In the meantime, where that second desk is in there, we're going to allow that to be filled by other agencies. If they're in here working on a case in Cushing, or if they're near Cushing and they want to utilize that, we've made that available to everybody there, and just to basically show our appreciation for their departments, and we get that same thing in return from them. So that's just one benefit of that room. We kind of go from there. We continue to the west. We go to the assistant chief's office, basically just another admin office. We go to my office, obviously, which is where we're at now. Both these offices are set up to deal with not only staff but the public as well. As you can see in my office, we've added a space for a conference table, take me off from behind the desk when I have to deal with somebody, and put us into a more desirable setting with the conference table. From there, we go into what now becomes the squad room, the patrol staff, the actual functioning patrol side of the department. We're heading back now basically to the south. Through the doorway to the left, we have the women's shower locker room. Because we do have now physical fitness, we now have a place for them to be able to change. We have a place for them to be able to take a shower. In the old building, we did have a shower, but it was down in investigations office down in the basement. So, it's something that nobody had access to. That was just to the investigators. So it wasn't very practical to use. To the right of the entrances, we're in there. We're now at the patrol sergeant. We have 3 patrol sergeants, 1 over each shift. This is where they can conduct their business, as well as any kind of issues that they may have with the public they have to deal with, or even with an employee if they need to bring an employee in to praise the work they've done or to correct work that they've done. They can do that, and they can do it in private. We now enter into the large portion, this open portion here, which is a squad room. That's where the patrol staff is going to complete their reports. They're going to be able to utilize the computer and continue their investigations. At that point, they have their phones there, their computers, and it's basically where their office is. Besides that, they have a conference table there that they can all sit down at, share what they've done that day, any issues that they may have.
Now, taking you back to the area approximately where the female shower for police officers is located, which, by the way, is something you did not have.
We did not. We did not have locker rooms for either male or female in the other building. We had just the regular standard bathrooms. Again, this was all added because of the fact that we do have the physical fitness room, which is joint shared between the fire department and our agency. And it's going to allow them to be able to, officers to be able to come in either in civilian clothes and work out and leave their uniforms in there, bring extra change of uniforms. From time to time, ultimately, we have to deal with bad things, whether it be we get some kind of bodily fluid on us, we get blood on us, or we're in a situation that may be a toxic environment. This way, they can come back, instead of us having to send them home to be able to go and take a shower, they can come back in, take a shower here at work, they can change their uniforms, and get right back out there on the street and continue working. So again, this is another area that we're very excited about. If we go from the showers, and we've talked about the squad room a little bit, we go down the hallway back, continuing to the south, we have the field training office. This is an office that we have in the old building, but with new technology. The office is set up for not only the student to be in there to train, but also the instructor to train. Before, we've always used overhead projector or a wall-mounted projector hooked up to a laptop in order to do PowerPoint slides and to teach our way of training as far as the law enforcement goes. This way, we've added it into a audio-video format, in which that now it's everything that's run through the computer is going to be projected on the wall through a TV. And so basically the TV that's mounted on the wall is basically a huge computer screen. So they can do all their stuff from the computer while it's right there for the trainee to see and do. We looked at it as far as cost effective. We looked at smart boards. We looked at trying to utilize a projector, overhead projector, and then we found out that the TV was obviously the cheaper way to go for us, which still got the same thing accomplished. So those officers there, once we hire somebody on, we have a 12-week training program, so they're in and out of that building for 12 weeks in that room. So we wanted them a place which is going to be conducive to their learning, and provide them a spot which they can go in and learn and absorb and become that sponge that we need them to become the officers that we want to put out there, which is the very best for the citizens. We go from there to some basically storage areas. We have an arsenal room, or our armory, which is where we have ammunition stored. We have our gun safe in there where we store guns that we have that have either been purchased through the department, seized by the department, been converted over to department use. As well as we will end up storing some firearms for another agency as well that's here in town. So we go then to the supply closet, which is a uniform supply closet. It allows us storage for extra items that we may have in the department, as well as extra uniforms, extra vests, all the gear that the police officers need. We have an actual place now to store that. From there, we continue into the south. We have our property room. This is another area that I'm very excited about. I know our property custodian is very excited about. Allows us to bring our property for the very first time in-house.
Let's talk about that just a little bit, because I think about this and think about how you just really could not store any property, any evidence, anything of that nature within your own building previously.
Absolutely, and we've had, since I've been here, we've held property in the old Civil Defense building, which used to be south of the City Hall. We held it there until that building became in such bad shape that we could not store it any longer, at which point the property itself was then moved out to Fontainebleau. And, that served us well until we had a burglary out there, which, just was one extra point of why it's so critical to have this in-house. When we built this, that was the one area that we really wanted to focus on, was to be able to bring that property in-house. And, that's why I'm so excited about it. Not only is it in-house now, we have some special features in there. We have the pass-through property lockers, which is going to give the officers multiple array of sizes to be able to put property in, instead of being, right now we have 3 small gym lockers. If it doesn't fit in the gym locker, you have to hold on to it until you can meet with the property custodian herself. So this way, it will allow any officer to be able to place the various types of objects, no matter what length they are, in the property, get them in there for the property custodian to be able to process. So again, this is real nice. And besides that, just like I've said on some of our other key features, they're audio videoed in there. So we have audio video capabilities. So we do have that in there to make sure the security features are followed. If we go from there, you can either exit from here out the south door, which then takes you out into what is our Sallyport driveway, or it takes you out into the actual opening back here where we have the overflow building. Or you can come back in, and if you will go back to the east, you start now getting into the detention area, the booking area. From this point forward, everything that you're around is going to be detention grade quality. Everything has got now keypad security on it, so you have to know a code in order to get access to that area. In that area, once we enter that doorway, we have an interrogation room. This is a room that is very sterile. It's really nothing in there. There's a table that's actually bolted to the wall and nailed into the floor. There's nothing in there other than chairs. It's simply a place where we're going to bring suspects into to talk to them about their involvement in crimes. And either those people are going to confess to that crime, or we're going to determine that they're not involved in that crime, or may not be involved in to the degree we believe.
Well, thanks for joining us this week for part 3 of our Safety Center tour with the police chief. Next week, we'll see part 2. So you don't want to touch your dial, don't touch your mouse, because we're going to be right back with more of Donna and Friends.